Cool. Should consequences for shots be specific or subjective and situational? Rex, you want to start with that one?
Sure. For me, they were very specific. When we first got into recovery, I came and Joe asked me for my shots, and I gave them to him, and it was 15 pages.
Which I read about half a page of it.
And he wrote me back and he said, "That's a good first try." And talk to your sponsor and send me your next version. So ultimately, my shots became about 8 lines maybe, and it's work a program, be sober, be honest, and be respectful. I think that's 8 words. And my consequences became very open. So if they were one of the top 2, which are life or limb threatening, or I'm sorry, life threatening. The surgeon came out of me. So they were life threatening, so if they weren't working a program or sober, then that's life threatening. And for me, that consequence is a higher level of care. And that could be more meetings, or it could be rehab, inpatient rehab. But it was open-ended because I don't think quick enough. I can't reach out to my higher power and my sponsor and the counselor in that instant. So for me, I'll call a shot, that's a shot, and I need to reach out to my God squad, my winners, my sponsor, my higher power, my counselor, before I can come up with the best higher level of care plan for that moment. And then the next 2 shots were about respect and honesty. And for me, the same thing. It was removal of privileges until amends were made, and amends were an apology plus a change in behavior. But that wasn't listed anymore. It was removal of privileges until amends are made. And there was no time limit anymore, because I learned from Joe that if I say you don't have your phone for 24 hours, that's really easy for him to do. Or for a week, but if I left it open-ended, it was better for me and my family. So mine were open. They weren't, but now they're very open, and they still are. I need to process them with my God squad before I can come up with the appropriate removal of privilege for our family or higher level of care. Thank you. Love you.
Cool.
I don't think it's very important what the shot is, as long as there is one. I think the most important, it kind of felt like my mom would just like spin a wheel of random consequences for whatever I did. But you better believe that there was a consequence for every single action, good or bad. Whether it's praise or it's not condemning, but it's I keep saying this, but it was really important for me to be seen. I felt like for so long I wasn't seen in a real way. There was very little consequence for whatever I did. And if it was, my mom would very, very quickly backtrack because it would become uncomfortable, or I would kind of push back, or give her a reason why that doesn't make sense as a consequence, and whenever she quit listening to me and was just like, okay, well, I don't really care if that makes sense, but you're going to do it if you want to live here, or if you want to ride to outpatient, or you want to ride to school, or if you don't want to respect me and respect my boundaries, then life's going to be a little bit more inconvenient for you for the time being, and a time frame isn't even really necessary. It can be indefinite, or it can be, like I said, go feed the homeless for a week, no rides for a week, whatever it may be. But yeah, as long as there is one, I think is the most important thing.
Totally. So it's a little bit of an art and a little bit of a science when it comes to the shots. One of the things that I think of is you want to model the behavior that you're wanting to see from your kids. So one of those behaviors is consistency. And you don't want to constantly be moving the goalpost because that's not going to create a lot of consistency. And it's hard to have like some safety and build trust in relationships if things are really wavering or inconsistent. And the shots, the rules, basically what the shots are, they're designed to take the emotion out of it because the consequence is not a punishment. And this also ties into the like us working our program in the parent-driven recovery piece of it, is that there's a big difference between consequence and punishment. Punishment is all about my emotional reaction to something that you have done that has ruffled my feathers or upset me in some way. It usually breeds hurt, anger, resentment, misunderstanding, confusion, whatever. And it usually comes from a place of reaction and fear. And again, decisions that I make out of fear generally blow up in my face. A consequence is meant to be a corrective action, a corrective measure. I'm not doing this because I'm pissed at you. I'm doing this actually because I love you and I want to put you in a position to where you can address the behavior, where the behavior can actually be addressed. And the way to do that is through having simple, emotionless shots, and being unapologetic about it, because that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to help them to curve the behavior, not just get them to do the dishes one time. If they're not doing the dishes, it's not about the dishes. You want to be able, and through our own process and working our steps with our sponsor and sharing in meetings and coming to climbers and things like that, we learned what it's really about. What's the feedback that we're getting? What is this behavior really telling me as far as where my kid is at, where they're at with their honesty, their integrity, their entitlement, their lack of gratitude, like whatever. And if you're really paying attention and looking for those things, then it's going to give you a lot of information on where to intervene and how to help your kids. So as far as like specific or subjective and situational, it's totally up to you guys how you want to do that, and you'll kind of learn, like Rex was talking about. You'll kind of learn as you get in there, if you're doing the work on yourself, what is effective for your family and for your kid. The way that I like to think of effective is it working? If it's working, then it's effective. If we're seeing some results, even if it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, which is still progress, but it's about the best that people like me and Sean and your kids can hope for, then what we're doing may be working, and we just need to keep working it or tweaking it as we go.